We got an old classic from the year 2000. This solid Disney movie about diversity, togetherness, and football. Especially during the week of Super Bowl week. We're going to review Remember the Titans from 2000. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's Movie Breakdowns? Movie review series looking at new or old movies. Give them a grade 8 through up, plus or minus to do count. And this movie I want to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to as best I can. Also have a Patreon, patreon.com/Ali Zakka. For $2 a month, you can cut in front of everybody, get your review up way before it comes on Facebook, way before it comes out on YouTube. You get trailer action, trailer reviews, and much more content on the Patreon. That's only for $2 a month. And also have a guest. Ty the Phoenix has returned back for another review. He's been on a few episodes, so you go check him out if you want to see more of his content. Also, he is an artist bringing out music like Headband Birdie. Check it out. It's a great song. I actually worked out to it. And a bunch of other good music out there. So check him out on Spotify.
Appreciate it.
And anything else you want to throw in there before we hop into this episode?
Oh man, let's get in.
All right. So this is an old favorite from both of our artists from growing up. This movie, Remember the Titans from 2000. It's football week. It's Super Bowl week, and I decided like let's review it. I hit Tyreek up like, hey man, you want to come and join in on this episode? He was like,
Classics.
Remember the Titans? This is one of my childhood favorites.
This is my favorite.
I gotta jump in.
Best football movie. Best football movie. You don't even gotta like football to like this movie because I didn't like football when I watched this movie. Now I love football.
Disney does it right. That's another good movie for Disney to introduce a bunch of people who not even a football fan, but just togetherness and camaraderie and diversity all coming together to show like, hey, together we can do something great versus individual. And what is Remember the Titans about? It's about a high school football team that gets integrated black and white, and the coach, you get a new head coach, is a black head coach, and he's teaming with an assistant coach who is white, and they had to get this team together, these high school boys together to win a football season. But this is in the 1970s?
Yeah, 70s.
1970s when like schools just started getting integrated. So there's a lot of racial tension going on. You have a lot of people fighting each other.
In Deep South.
Yes, that too. And so you have all these people fighting each other and what size and race and all this stuff. And the schools have to navigate through that. These not school, but these students have to navigate through that and learn to trust each other, not just by the color of their skin, but by the person who they are.
Right. And
that's pretty much it. And them overcoming adversity and winning the state championship. Yes, this is a spoiler review, guys, for a movie that came out in 2000. So, but
yeah, the football team is like the catalyst for them trying to not only, you know, how can we bring these two sides, because you have one side of the team that used to play for Coach Yotes when he was the head coach. You got that one side of the team, they're all white. You got these new kids that come in, they're black. Not only do they have to come together as a team, but then when they leave camp and they go back, they have to address life and come together in life, because as soon as they leave camp and they finally get things together, life challenges them to separate again. So
and the movie really does show that. Like the first part of the movie, like Tyreek was saying, is about them at camp and them just coming together in camp. And the second part of the movie, like if they didn't have the 2 weeks they was at camp, them going to school and their family influences and their friends influences. Like you have a guy named Bertier whose girlfriend literally stops dating him because he hangs out with a black guy. Literally, that is it. And she's like, this is not my fight to choose. It's not my side to choose. I'm headed now. And he was like, don't you love me? Okay.
Or like me at least.
Yeah, like, dang. Like my friend, my best friend now, who is my roommate I had for 2 weeks, he's a cool dude. He's black and white. And you even have the whole scene where like one of the guys, so there's two characters, Sunshine and Louie, I believe his name is, who for them, they wasn't raised in a household where it's like race was a big issue. It was like you judge somebody by their character and their soul versus the color of their skin. So like Sunshine wants to go into this restaurant. He's like, oh dude, it'd be cool, guys. Like, come on, Petey, come on, Blue, let's go into this restaurant. Let's get together and let's go sit down and eat. They walk in and the owner's like,
They're not getting served.
Yeah, this place is full. You know, they see a bunch of seats around, and the owner's like, nah, you can't have this kind in here, and you too, hippie boy. And Petey snaps for some reason in this movie, which, you know, Petey's like, I told you, Sunshine, they're not gonna let us in. Sunshine's like, I'll be fine. Petey snaps on Sunshine, and it made no sense to why he was snapping,
Right.
but...
Well, he was embarrassed.
But...
And it's like those things, like a trigger. He got triggered.
Yeah.
He got triggered. That's what it was.
But at the same time, Sunshine didn't really understand. He was just he was just like, oh no, we'll be fine with the football team. Town wouldn't care about that. But unfortunately, this time of era, this time of life,
and that right there, but that right there is to show you that's one of the. So you have the racial bigots, you know, the people who are against you, but then you have those other people that are completely oblivious to what goes on. Not everybody's enemy. Some people just really have no experience. So when he goes in there, he's just, oh, it's gonna be fine. Like he's never had that happen.
Yeah, he's from California, and I guess at that time California was more.
It still is.
Yeah, true.
It still is
true.
more progressive. It's more progressive.
And this is not trying to be all like political and stuff like that. We're just explaining what the movie is. So sorry if you're getting turned off by this because you didn't want to hear this.
It is what it is.
It's Remember the Titans. Like, go watch it. You'll see it for yourself. And Disney does a good way of just presenting it to you without throwing it in your face.
But it has a lot of political statements. I mean, not even just from the racial perspective, because you have the black and white racial perspective. You have the daughter of the coach who also challenges because she's into football. She's rough and tough. While Coach
Sports
Boone
loves it.
Yeah, while Coach Boone is a girl. That's a challenge to a stereotype right there. Then you even have Sunshine who's hippie and could possibly be homosexual or bisexual, which is another, and they hint at it. Yeah. Which is another thing that, you know what I'm saying. So there's a lot of different political and social messages that's being played throughout the movie.
I don't think political is it's a social, like it's a life. It's
a little bit.
It's literally life. It's just literally saying like, this is the world we live in.
Because unfortunately, those things affect all things and aspects of life. You know what I'm saying? Like some people like, oh, we're no longer gonna coach with you if you're gonna stand by Coach Boone. Right. Now that in itself goes down to the school politics. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you're cheating to keep Coach Yost back in, that comes down about politics. It had nothing to do with football. It had nothing to do with the games.
One thing I did like about this movie, though, and it's something for real life, when it comes to sports bring us all together. You can see it today where you watch football, you watch American football, you watch rugby, you watch golf, basketball, tennis. No matter what sport you're watching, baseball, you can watch it. No matter who's on that field, if they're scoring a point for your city, for your country, you're like, let's go.
Absolutely.
No matter what they look like. Because everybody wants to be winners. And everybody attach themselves to their team. No matter who putting the uniform on, you're attaching yourself to the team. And football is one of the coolest catalysts for sports when it comes to like diversity and comes to bringing everybody together. I will go to a Kansas City Chiefs football game and no matter what you see, you'll see different races, different colors, different skins, different ages, different people, different styles of life, all coming together wearing red and yellow for the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, it's definitely a sport. Like, sports in general brings people together, and it's definitely a way to show diversity can work together. And this movie is kind of like the example of that. It's probably one of the best sports movies out there. The things that I like in this movie, pretty much everything when it comes to the storytelling, it comes to like that, showing the diversity, showing like you can come together, showing the team overcoming the challenge of them did the first season ever, coming together, and whether or not they can make it a championship, whether or not if they lose, Coach Boone is fired, so they're overcoming all these challenges just as a team.
On and off the field.
On and off the field, and you get to witness that. One character gets injured and he's put in a wheelchair and he's out the movie, but the team comes together and rally around Bertier. And I feel like there's probably other movies before this, but I feel like this is one of the first movies that I noticed where the team was like, we gotta rally around a person who's fallen, or fallen person. Do it for little Saint. Like,
right.
Every movie,
instead of just ejecting him from the movie.
Yeah, I feel like every movie after that always follow the person who gets injured. Oh, he got injured. The last hoorah is for this guy. Let's do it
in memorial of.
Which it's funny because Bertier wasn't dead, but then like Bertier's mom comes to the championship game and everybody's clapping for her, and you're like, He's not dead. He's just in a hospital. But okay,
he was beloved by that town, though.
Sure.
Guess, that the way that the girl in the beginning describes his daughter, Coach Hill's daughter. She's like, it's bigger than Christmas.
She did.
You know what I'm saying? So the quarterback goes down, and everybody's just like, oh. But I have seen towns like that. I went to a marching band competition one time in this place called Trenton, Missouri, and the whole town shut down for the marching band competition. It was a state fair marching band competition. Together, whole thing shut down. So they were hometown heroes. So I understand that a little bit.
I mean, that's a good point too, because like if you think about like college towns where they don't have professional teams, it's literally just the college. Like Nebraska, it's literally Nebraska Cornhuskers. That's what they all invest in. Iowa, like so. You're completely right with that. What about things you liked?
Okay, a couple things I like. I like the fact that they are able to slip all those messages in the movie without shoving it down your throat. It doesn't really distract from the movie. I like a lot of the lines in this movie, even though some of the dialogue is, how would you say it, Ali?
Cheesy. This movie does have really cheesy dialogue, and it's at certain times kind of, when looking back on it, it's kind of hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie. At certain scenes, I'm like, that line was not necessary. Or why are you pacing? Or why are you pausing?
I'm always quoting this movie, though. I'm always quoting this movie.
It's a very quotable movie.
So many good lines.
Like, anytime you hear somebody say left side, you think strong side, left side, strong side, left side, strong side. I want a victory! I want a victory! Like, yeah, like you hear that stuff, you think, oh, remember Titans. Like, I can go to any football group of people who play football and who've seen this movie. If I yell left side, I will at least get one person like, strong side! Because it was that scene was emotional because it finally showed Bertier and Julius coming together.
And then the rest of the team followed because they're the leaders pretty much of the groups. I also like the fact that there's some good football in here. Like, there's a lot of sports movies where it's like you don't get any football. So I like the training montage where you see them suck, and then as they start to come up and get really, really good, and then they're challenged and cheated in a sense at the end of the movie, and then you get to see them come back again, and they don't completely come back. They do lose at a point in time when at the end when they talk about the next season or something like that.
Oh, they didn't bring up the next season.
Or maybe that was in the biopic at the end when they do the freeze frames or something like that. Maybe it was after the fact.
Okay, they didn't lose it all this season. They
had a straight under. Yeah. How many games they play?
It's like 10.
High school.
Yeah, because it made the state champion. But like there was times they almost lost. Like they was losing at halftime at one point, and Coach Boone walks in like, "Well, y'all got spirit, and y'all you keep fighting, and you did good, and we're losing right now." And Julius like, "Coach, we didn't put all that hard work and effort and waste our time for us just to lose. Like we came here to like." He said, "I know we're not perfect."
See,
but you expect us perfection, and we came out here. We're going to deliver that. Like,
how was that cheesy?
No, that line wasn't cheesy.
Aha!
But don't drop my football, Petey. Don't drop my football. How many feet are in the mile? How many?
What'd you say?
You're killing me, Petey. Like that scene. What's that? Are the New York Jets? What is this? Shotgun formation? Are the New York Jets out there?
He said, "You don't get no water for that blotch some blood off that uniform. And you don't get no blood on my uniform."
Coach, I think you're training him too hard. Coach, I think you. I can't whistle. I'm trying to whistle. Yeah, like
that coach is giving that snail too much hard of a time. It's really training that snail too hard.
SpongeBob reference. And another thing we gotta talk about when we talk about character, we gotta talk about the chemistry between, because this movie I think for me really comes together thanks to Julius and Bertier. Because watching back, Coach Boone was a jerk. And Yost is just sitting on the side, and every time Yost brings up something, Boone kind of looks at him like, and then let's keep going.
Coach Yost be looking like a deer in headlights sometimes. He just sits there.
And then it's funny though because Yost does bring up the point in the movie where he's like, Boone, you should use more compassion, you should more relate to these people, and Boone does use it when Sunshine's like, I'm not ready, And Boone goes, "Oh, you are ready." He's like, no. He's like, "No, you're never gonna be ready." He's like, "When my mom and dad died, and I had to take care of my 12 brothers and sisters because I was the oldest. Like, I wasn't ready, but I stepped up because that's what you have to do. You have to step up." And not Yost, but
the other assistant.
Sunshine. He's like, "Okay," put his helmet on and go in and become the starting quarterback. And the other coach, like, "You had 12 brothers and sisters." He goes, "8." It's like, "Yeah, 12 sounds better." Like,
right.
But then there's a scene where Yost catch the referee's cheating, and he's normally compassionate, like, "Hey, you got it, you're okay." Well, he sees it like, "All right, I want y'all to get out there, I want y'all to blitz every time y'all pity."
That's when he finally stood up for himself, because he was the whole it took him observing everything. Like, he had to watch him cheat, watch his daughter get mad, watch the team get mad, watch the coach look smug. Like, it took so many things, because the whole movie, like you were saying, he kind of is a pushover. The whole movie gets ran over.
And even at the end of the movie, the reason why he pushes his pride aside for the team to win is because his daughter comes up to him and says, "Hey, Dad, they're killing you guys with the snap gun formation. You know, you need to come up with a different style, a different technique. You know you have it. Why don't you use it?" And he's like, "Why did you talk to Coach Boone about what you guys can do?" And he goes up to talk to Coach Boone at the end of at halftime, and the state champion is like, "Hey, I can use some of those plays you have." His daughter even comes up to him because he's witnessing everything around him, and he had to put his pride aside. Like, he was still prideful at the end of the movie, and they both was. And there's a scene where, like, Boone put, like, maybe I'm putting these kids through too much. Maybe I'm doing too much. When Bertier gets injured, and his wife was like, "No, you bringing this town together. You're doing all this stuff." And Boone was like, "Okay, yeah, I am." Like, he never had a...
Because even Coach Yost and Boone are two people that have to try to come together, because they didn't like each other at the beginning either.
They didn't. You know, Yost is more laid back and kind of behind his back with it, and Boone was kind of just like, "You have a problem with me? Come at me." Like...
Right. But yeah, he initially was just like, he was going to leave.
Yeah.
He was going to leave.
True, that's very true. He only stayed around for the kids, so he didn't really want to be there in the first place, but they learned to work together. Dislikes, because my dislike, you already brought it up, is, I think the movie has some cheesy lines in there, which is like, yep. And then there's some certain scenes where, like, the acting is not as strong. There's a scene where we watched it multiple times, and it's actually one of our favorite scenes too, where Bertier and Julius are getting into it about a poster being on the wall, and Julius tell, like, "Hey, you better get X-ray vision, Superman, because that poster ain't coming down." And Julius said it to Bertier, and Bertier attacks Julius. They're fighting each other. And there's a scene where Bertier punches Julius, and Julius looks at him for like a hot second, like...
They phone that in, man.
And then he punches him. And then Ryan Gosling's in this movie. He walks in, he looks at them fighting, and he goes...
Snitch.
Watch, no, but like, it was the way he looked in, like, it was like, "Oh shoot, they're fighting." Like, you see somebody fighting, but like, "Wait a minute,
you have a better different reaction."
Yeah, like, actually, he walked in so casual, like he saw somebody like having like tea and dinner, and he's like, "Fuck!"
That's the thing. He came in there looking so casual, but they went out and snitched on everybody else. And then you see a whole horde of people running towards the room like it's a panic situation, but the dude that saw it didn't.
He didn't jump in. He just looked in. It was so like. There's certain acting scenes are like, "Oh, no. Sunshine's for California." Then I don't think you understand. Californian. You talking about girl, bro? Maybe I am. Well, I ain't seen a livestock around here. God. Like, the dialogue in this movie is not the best, and it's super cheesy.
You highlighting the bad one.
But there's also times where, like, there's very emotional moments and very, like, quotable, like, inspirational moments in this movie where, like, Julius tells Bertier, you know, "Leadership reflects attitude, Captain." Like, they're talking about how the team's not coming together, and he mentions that to him. That's something that stuck with me as a kid. "Leadership reflects attitude, Captain." Like, I was like, "Oh, that's right." Like, how you present yourself is how people gonna look at you when you carry yourself in certain situations. If you're acting, you know, laid back and out of it, people are like, you put the leader, they're not gonna follow you the same way. So it's some good stuff, like, when it comes to that. But also at the same time, you can't, when you're doing a review, you can't ignore the cheesiness in this movie too.
Big fact.
Or like,
it is an old movie. It is a Disney movie.
True. But like, when Hayden Panettiere's character is throwing a basketball to Boone's daughter, and she just dodges and goes, "I just got my nails done."
Kids. There's like a handful of good kid actors.
Granted, it's a kid, but like the line delivery that she was given, because I don't like when I watch movies, I see
Sweetie, look at the camera.
Like when I watch movies that I never seen the actor in other movies before, and like this could be the first movie, I never blame the actor or blame the dialogue and the directing because you don't know what that actor been through, you know what other stuff they done. Right, so the directing and acting for that character, not the actress, but the character did not work. Or Penn Terry's like freaking out and she's like, "Oh my gosh," and the girl's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I was like, "Why are you giving that line?"
She didn't see the same game that we're all sitting in the bleachers.
Why are you telling her to do that?
That's yeah. Who directed it? You have the director in there?
Yeah, we'll get to him in a moment. Before I do that, you got any dislikes?
I wanted this. It's not really a dislike, but it's just like something I just wanted to see. I wish they had more of the scenes where they were outside of the football setting, because I feel like there's a lot of like football scenes where it's all like either they're at camp, they're at the games. There's a couple of school scenes. That one scene where they're out at the restaurant, but that was like near the end of the movie. I felt like I felt like it would be cool if we could see like more scenes of them just outside doing stuff. See more of the struggle outside of camp, because we only see a couple of scenes for that. So that's all I would say. I don't really have anything I dislike besides that. You know, this is a classic movie for me. I love this movie. I don't get what I'm talking about.
Hey man, all I'm saying, hey man, all I'm saying was just like, I review it. I like to be honest. I like to give my honest thoughts and opinions when it comes to movies. Heck, this is what I did as a YouTube reviewer. Like, I'm just being honest.
You'll live your life by this one.
But you'll see when I get my final grade here. You'll see what my grade compared to IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. But let's go ahead and get into the director and writer. So the director is Boaz Yakin. I am so sorry I just screwed your name up, but it's Boaz. Last name Yakin. I don't know anything else he's done. And then the writer there's only one writer for this movie. That's impressive. Gregory Allen Howard is the writer for this movie. And the budget for this movie had a budget of $30 million. And it came out worldwide 136 million plus. So they got their money back on this movie.
The opening week.
The opening weekend was, well, they almost hit their budget opening weekend. It was just $20 million. And then this is not opening week. This is like after everything's said and done. The movie is an hour and 53 minutes. It doesn't feel like an hour and 53 minutes. It does move.
It cooks, yeah.
Yeah, it moves by. The pacing of it is solid. Like, you're not in one place for very long, but also you're in a place enough time for it to see what's going on. You get these emotional moments, and the movie continues forward. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the cast here. Yeah, Denzel Washington, who played Coach Boone.
Coach Boone.
Denzel Washington has some of the cheesiest lines in the movie too, but also his character is kind of a jerk, like I said before. But like, I feel like Denzel will play that character right. Like, I don't know if the real Coach Boone is like this. This movie is based off a real life story, so I don't know if the real Coach Boone was a dick or this how he perceived.
Let's give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Who's your dad, Jerry Lewis? You are. Fix your tie, get on my bus.
First, fix your tie, get on the bus. Yes, Coach.
Like, dang. My name is Jerry. I mean, Gary. Jerry?
He sings the songs and he gets the girls.
Like, dang. This man is like straight just ostracized and abused this man in front of his mom.
So you could come with a suit. If you ain't got a suit, buy one. You can't buy one, ask your old man. If you got an old man, find a bum on the streets and trade him for his. God damn. Why does the bum on the street have a suit top?
It's the 70s, man. Will Patton, who played Coach Bill Yost, I feel like the acting, when it came to people presenting, like, they all made their character believable. You believed who these actors were portraying. I feel like Yost did a good job. I feel like he was portrayed in a soft, mild manner. Not, I guess, meek at certain times character.
He was a docile guy.
Yeah, who like got overlooked by Boone. Like I said, Boone would look at this man in his eye after Yost would say something to him. and then just looked away and kept going. Like he,
and he always just blank stares off, and it wasn't just him. It was like there was other people too.
Right.
The board director dude, the guy, the other coach at the bar, at the diner.
Yeah.
Every time someone leaves him sitting there at the table by himself.
Wood Harris, who played Julius. Wood Harris, I think, is probably one of his best performances. Besides that scene, like, God, I don't think I can put a clip of that scene in this movie, but Wood Harris, he does a good job, like, being Julius and being, like, the tough, determined leader for the team as well, and showing that, hey, two sides can come together. I feel like Julius security put a lot on his back, even going to meet Bertier's mother. Mm-hmm. He comes into the house and he gives her a hug. Like, he doesn't handshake her, he gives her a huge hug, and I thought it was like, that's kind of cool. Like, I like a little touch of directing there of maybe Wood Harris himself, like, hey, can I give her a hug, versus like giving the handshake, like, oh, I'd like to meet you. Like, no, he's like, we're brothers, I'm gonna act like that. Like, you meet somebody who's your brother, like, if your best friend's your brother,
showing actual love,
yeah, you're gonna give their parents a hug. You're not gonna be like, nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, how are you? And then Ryan Hurst, who played Gary Bertier, I thought he did a good job. Like I said, Wood Harris and Ryan Hurst. Wow, that's so weird.
Wood Hurst.
Right, their last names are almost similar. But if it wasn't for those two, this movie wouldn't be as good as it is. Like, I think they really carried this movie. And if it wasn't for them being there, this movie wouldn't be as strong. It wasn't for them being like the characters they would have to be to present the movie to show like this is a real thing, and them bringing it all to the table regarding the lines they was given. It wouldn't work.
It's a large football team. They gotta focus on some people. They don't really. Some of the other guys that are in it, they don't really have that many lines. Like Rev and them, like they don't really talk that much.
Rev, who played by Craig Kirkwood, yeah, he doesn't really talk that much. He's there. Donnie Falson, who plays P.D. Jones, I probably messed his last name up. He's from Scrubs, that's where most people know him from. He does a good job. He's a character who's like, super like cocky. Like, I think he's hot stuff, but then like the moment he doesn't get this way, he's just like, I'm out. Yeah, and they bring him back multiple times in this movie.
Yeah, he breaks down a few times.
Ethan Subley, who plays Louis. He was like the big cool dude in the movie, like.
Wow, he looks really different now.
He was kind of just not there, but he added a different perspective to the movie, which so does Kip Purdue, who played Ronnie Sunshine. They add a different perspective to the movie, but I think they did good in the role that was given. Let's see here, and then Hayden Panettiere, who played Cheryl Yost. I thought she did a great job. Like she brought in like the whole like football coach girl who loves football. Like, and there's the scenes where her and Bill and Boone like were watching film, and Boone was like, "Why don't you go play with my daughter over there?" And she was like, "Go play with the dogs." She's like, "I'm not a fan of dogs." And then he says something else to her, and she looked at him and gave him like this. And he was like, "You ready? Let's go ahead and keep watching the film." I was right. I almost wanted a movie with Boone and Panettiere character, like with Denzel Washington and Hayden Panettiere playing off each other, because that scene there, I was like, this is gold. I want more of these two characters hanging out.
She was like that raw spirit that drove them behind the scenes.
And then you had Ryan Gosling, because he is there and he's presented a lot in this movie. You know, he doesn't do much as Alan. I guess he does. He does something. He plays in games. He shows up in certain scenes. But like, for the most part, he just only got him comic relief.
Right. That was his biggest part in the movie.
But there's also scenes where he's like dancing with the team and stuff like that. Like, maybe comic relief. I don't know. Burgess Jenkins, who played Ray. He was kind of like the antagonist of the movie more than anything. Like, he would want us to be set in the ways and not work together and not come together. And it was like a sign for Gary Bertier to like kick him off the team. It was showing like Gary was growing and opening up and being open-minded, versus, you know, Ray, who was like, no, we shouldn't integrate. We should keep our sides.
He was costing the team.
Yeah,
he was costing the team when Julius brought it to his attention, you know what I'm saying, that people on his side of the camp weren't playing proper for the other team members, and it was causing them to not perform well. then when he actually saw it, he had
Right.
to admit it, and he just sat there. You know what I'm saying? And then he confronted him about it, and it was because of racial tension, and he ended up getting kicked off the team.
And that's pretty much like the biggest antagonist besides like the board of directors trying to stop Boone from winning. Other than that, like it really came down because it's not really a huge. I guess racial tension is a big antagonist in the movie.
That's what it is.
But yeah, but Burge is kind of like the face. His character Ray was more of the face of it in the movie. Somebody to say like, "Hey, you can't be here because you're not trying to work with us. You're trying to stop us by you keeping your mindset is really hurting us in the end." But yeah, now that's pretty much the main cast of the movie here. There's a lot of other people in here because it's a huge cast. I think they all came together pretty well. Any other thoughts?
Man, I love this movie, man. That's all I have to say, man.
Music. This movie has an actual lot of licensed music into it, but it's a Disney movie.
It
but
does.
like Ain't No Mountain High Enough. There's a bunch of like an old lot of '70s classic music in this movie. I guess it's not. You could consider it classic now.
I say it's a classic.
'70s classics.
This is I don't know what all. I'm trying to think of all the songs that are in the movie.
There's a handful of songs.
There's a lot of songs in the movie.
Like
when they singing on the bus.
Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and then there's
Where?
yeah, they're singing down the
where?
bus. They're singing a few other songs. They sing "We Are the Titans," but I don't think that's the actual song. That's just what they came up with. There's a lot of licensed music in this movie. Like I can't think of all of it right now because so many to name from.
I can't. I'm trying to think.
I don't think like there's not really a scene where like the music's like really pertinent. It's just like feel good music. Here we go.
Well, this is a feel good movie. Let's
True.
not distract from that. All this stuff going on. The overall tone of this is to feel some kind of joy at the end of it. Like anytime there's something bad happens, they literally turn it around the very next moment and they bring it back to something lighthearted.
The movie actually opens up with a funeral and it actually ends with a funeral. Gary Bertier is the one who passes away due to a car accident. Like he got injured in a car accident, and then later on in his life, like not even 10 years later, maybe 5 to 10 years later, he passes away again through another car accident with a drunk driver. And they come back to his funeral. That's what the team brings the team back together. And the last scene you see of this movie is Coach Yost and Coach Boone kind of just looking off to the side. Like the camera's like facing them directly, so like this, and they're kind of just like looking offward. Like they're not looking, at the camera. They're just kind of looking off, and the movie cuts to the face of black, and then plays the like, oh, this is what happened to this person. This is what happened to this person. This is what happened to this person. But it ain't no mountain high enough playing. So you're right. Like
everybody's smiling and stuff. They immediately change. They want you to feel the gravity of the moment, but not too long.
Yeah. But like, cause this movie could have got really dark. There's a lot of stuff like that they don't discuss that happens in this time.
That's what I wanted. That's the only thing I'm saying. Like, I wish there was more of those like outside the football. This is more what's going on, especially when they're at school. Like, we don't really see them in class.
We don't.
We just see them walking in hallways.
The only taste you get really is like the brick getting tossed into Boone's house with Hayden Panettiere there, and they're like, get out, gotta get the shotgun, and then like that's about it. Like you don't really see what really happens, which is a Disney movie, so you can't really get that graphic with it and about what actually happened in certain scenes, in certain places. But it does a good job. It does a good job. I think the directing, as far as like camera lighting and setting and certain scenes and lighting in certain areas, I think that's great. Like the movie's kind of like this old like autumn fall warm color tone because it's a warm, maybe feel good movie. Like there's not really that many dark. Even the scene where it is like dark and gray, it still has like a bluish background to it to lighten the scene up, and then getting the battle of Gettysburg, and he's explaining that it's never too dark for too long. And even the scene where they're like left side, strong side at night, the lights are on them and you can see them like having that moment in the music like the orchestra and the actual OST of the movie
gives the energy to the situation.
Like, there's a scene where Yost and his coach Tyrell Herbert was talking to each other, and Herbert's like, I'm out, I'm not gonna be with this, like I'm not sitting here if you don't want to become the head coach. And they're playing like the inspirational like change in the moment music in the background.
That's Coach Yote's character development right there. He's breaking past the mold.
But he's getting told to go to HE double hockey sticks.
You can go to hell.
In the same scene, so
I want you there with me, Tyrell. Come on now, you can go to hell.
They're playing this inspiration.
Comes a time where a man's gotta pick sides.
And that's what you're gonna tell me after you gotta do what you gotta do after all we've been through?
I'm saying I want you there with me.
And they're playing this inspirational music in the background. It just, but it's a feel good movie.
Left at the table.
It's a feel good
Mouth agape.
Oh man, that's my other thoughts there. All right, is this a Friday night movie?
Yeah, this is classic.
Yeah, this is a Friday night movie. Watch with your friends and family.
Classic.
All right, grading time. You want to go first? Or I'll go first.
You go first.
All right.
You go first.
I'm gonna grade Remember the Titans from the year 2000. I'm gonna give this movie a B. This movie gets a B for me. The reason why is because of the cheesy moments and the cheesy dialogue in the movie. How we're like laughing at stuff in this movie that it's a sports drama, and yet we're finding things to laugh at in a sports drama movie. But it's not bad. Like you're gonna watch it, you're gonna feel good. Like, oh my gosh, this movie makes you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. Kid, it will. But at the same time, there's moments of cheese where you're just like, yep. But it doesn't distract from the movie. I think the acting, and certain parts that can be weak, but I think the actors for the most part brought it and delivered. The writing brought it and delivered. The story was fleshed out. It's a great story. It's a shonen arc. If you watch anime, it's literally the training montage that's come together. This is the start of the journey. The training montage with the camp,
conflict,
and then them trying to work together in the game. So the competition moments, and then they have the downfall period where everybody's like they're going their separate ways because racial tension, and then they're coming back and they overcame it, and then they got one more downfall, and then they come back, and at the end we win, and everybody cheers, and oh my gosh,
an undefeated season, by the way. That they come back and they win on the Goku level.
It's the hero's journey, but with a football team. It's
right.
It's done. It's done really well. It's fleshed out. Even there's moment of emotions where Gary Bertier gets injured, and you're like, oh no, and you're feeling the team in the hospital with him, and Gary's like, I'm fine. They're like, but you never be able to walk again. He's like, hey, they got one of those things, you never be able to get to walk again. They got Olympics for people in wheelchairs?
They do. But I don't know if they had it back. Did they have it back then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he won Olympics twice, I think.
The actual guy?
Yeah. But yeah, it was just kind of like he immediately saw that and he was like, there's Olympics for people in wheelchairs, and he kind of just brushed his shoulder off the fact that his life has completely changed. And I was sitting there and thought about that. I was like, this man went from walking, 1 foot, 2 foot, to rolling around in a wheelchair. Like, your life has changed, but the way he handled that was like, they got sports for athletes in wheelchairs. I'm in this. Like his life didn't really change, and there's a moment where the coach was like, well, this is the time we should be thinking together. Yo, Coach, this is the time we should be thinking together and talking about time for memorial and remembrance. And Bertier looks at Coach Yost and goes, Coach, I'm injured. I'm not dead.
Right.
It is a feel good movie. It's definitely those parts are emotional. For me, I was like, oh, that's my heart rate. I guess because I'm Ninja Warrior and played football and wrestle and did track, so I understand injuries suck and what to be injured. So I relate to that more. But it's definitely emotional watching. Man, this is some good stuff. So yeah, it's a B for me. What about you?
I'd probably say it'd be the same for me around the B range. The only reason I wouldn't go higher than that is just because
B 85%, B minus 80%.
No, about 85%, 85% straight down the middle, just straight up B. Yeah, because there are some standout performances as far as the acting goes, but again, like you said, I guess it can't get cheesy because you have to remember it's a Disney movie. I didn't know this was a Disney movie for the longest time. It wasn't until later, and then I'm like, oh, that explains some of the dialogue choices in some of the places. But I like Denzel Washington's performance. There's a lot of lines that I really like from this movie. But it doesn't give me everything I want as far as just showing more. If you're gonna tell a story, go all the way with it. I don't always like it when they pull back too fast. I guess that's Disney doing that, but sometimes I feel like they just pull back too fast when they're getting really good into something. They like one of the issues or something. Because if you're gonna stuff all these issues in the movie, you might as well go with it. You know what I mean? Right. You might as well go with it. And yeah, like you were saying earlier, when they threw the brick through his house when his daughter was there, there's a scene where Coach Yost and Coach Boone are talking, and he's like, well, yeah, your daughter got a little taste of what we deal with all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then they never go back to that having resolution on how does that affect Coach Yost. You know what I'm saying? Right. And how he goes forward. So just like little, picks like that. But good lines. It's a classic movie. I can watch it all the time. I like football now. This is a movie that made me like football and get into football. So yeah, man. But I just think I want more. Like every time I watch it, I want more, and I hate the fact that it ends abruptly.
It really does.
But yeah.
And so you guys were recent. So a B is 85% from my grading scale, and IMDb gives it a 7.8 out of 10. And Rotten Tomatoes give it a 73%, which is that's a C minus in my book. A 73% is a C minus. A 75% I consider a C. 7.8, which is I consider a C plus. So they give it as a C plus for IMDb and a C minus for Rotten Tomatoes. And I was on the fringe of B minus, B plus, but I was like, I'm sorry, not B plus, but B minus, B. 80% to 85%, and I was like, no, I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a B, the 85%, because it is a fun movie and you can watch this anytime too.
It just has so many quotable lines for me. That's like I find myself dropping "Remember the Titans" lines. I even have it in like songs that I've made. I've dropped lines from the movie. One
of the quotes I remember you say so much growing up was always the "How many feet are in a mile?"
I know, because
how many feet are in a mile?
All the time. Because it's like, I kept singing this at school. Like I never owned this movie, but I saw it like 15 times at school.
It wasn't easy. Like I swear the movie, there's no cuss words really in it. Like you maybe have one or two that's like. Now today would be considered cuss words, but at the time you wouldn't really think of it that way.
Right, derogatory terms.
Yeah, derogatory terms where you wouldn't think of it that way. Now you're like, yeah, you probably can't use that on public. But yeah, like so back then, like growing up, like early 2000s to 2011, like you can get away with this movie. All right. Well, hey, that's our review for Remember the Titans from 2000. You see Remember the Titans, what did you think?
It's on Disney Plus.
This is true. It's on Disney Plus. Please put in the comment section below. Tyreek, thanks for coming back on to another episode. Appreciate it. And everybody else out there in America, and also they broadcasting overseas, go watch the big game. Go watch Super Bowl if you're an American football fan. Thank you for watching this episode. Please be safe. Have a great time and keep being awesome.
You blitz every single play all night. Don't let them get another yard.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all and keep being awesome.